Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I want to talk about books that have been surprising me lately. I feel like the rug keeps getting pulled out from underneath me lately. Like I'm picking up books and I'm like, whoa, that was really good. Or whoa, I never would have liked that. And all of a sudden, like, I think that's pretty good. Or like, holy crap, that makes me want to burn this in a fire. I want to watch it burn. I want today's video to focus on the ones that pleasantly surprised me. I feel like that's just easier and more fun to talk about than the ones that maybe I didn't like and I ended up DNFing. Let me know if you're interested in the ones that I did end up DNFing because they just didn't work for me, surprisingly. And I can always do like a separate video for that. But today, positive, pleasant surprises. Sorry, I feel like I was like the only one that I had at my desk already was Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is like a second chance, miscommunication. I don't want to say like enemies to lovers because they were never enemies at any point in time. It was always there under the surface that they really cared about each other. The main characters are Macy and Elliot. They created this friendship and they nurtured this bond over reading. And it all started when Macy lost her mother, unfortunately. And she and her father started going to this, I guess it was like a cabin retreat or like a summer home or something. I don't know. It got to the point where they were going pretty much every weekend to this cabin. And when they went, Macy would oftentimes run into one of the neighbor boys that used to live out there, Elliot. Their first interaction was really cute, actually. Elliot, she went in the room that was going to be her room at the cabin, and Elliot was in the closet reading. And she's like, what the hell is going on here? And then from there, they just nurtured that relationship that they had, that mutual love for reading and exploring new worlds. And of course, considering it is a romance book, there is obviously that romantic relationship that does develop. It really does start when they're kids, when they're, I think it was in high school. Something happens. This is where the miscommunication comes in. Something occurs when they were kids, and it caused them to both kind of go their own separate ways. Macy with a little bit more resentment in her than Elliot necessarily, but even then, when you find out at the end why Macy kind of dropped off the face of the earth, Macy grieved for so long by herself, so quietly, and it made me really sad. I cried. I'm gonna tear up. Like, no, I'm not. I was crying because I was like, girl, why didn't you tell anybody? But it's that part of grief that, I don't know if it's a stage of grief or if it's just like a part of it some of us kind of go through when we are grieving, but it's a little bit of shame. You feel a little embarrassed that you're still feeling some type of way about something. And I think that maybe that's what happened, but I never would have thought this book would have worked for me because I don't love second chance romances. And I also don't really love miscommunication. Like A Love Letter to Whiskey, that was a book that surprised me, but I've talked about that one before. The miscommunication trope in that one was thick. That was a messy book. And I think that's why I liked it so much. It was I was reading it more so for like the messy aspect. The like, y'all can't get this together. Like, you really can't make this work. You can't like have a conversation. I think that's why I liked A Love Letter to Whiskey so much. But with Love and Other Words, it didn't have that messy component, in my opinion. It was more, it definitely had a little bit more maturity to it, even when they were kids. They were kids, obviously, but there was more going on, right, than the drama between the main characters. And I was thoroughly surprised. I was thoroughly surprised that two tropes that really don't work for me were executed so well that I absolutely love this book. I absolutely loved the story. And even at the end, there is another layer to the miscommunication that I didn't love. I feel like it's kind of predictable and it's overused a little bit. But I couldn't even get the chance to linger on how overused I think the trope is, because immediately the authors shifted into basically the consequences and the developments after that. And all of that it just goes to show that you can read books with tropes that you don't necessarily like, but if they're done well, you can walk away with like a new favorite read. Because I genuinely loved Love and Other Words. As soon as I finished that, I ended up buying, where is it? Something Wilder. I ended up buying Something Wilder by Christina Lauren too. I think it's an author duo. My understanding is that's also some type of like second chance romance. Maybe possibly, I could be 100% wrong talking out of my ass. But I get the impression it's some type of like more mature romance. And I'm really excited to read it because I was so pleasantly surprised by how they executed those tropes. And the writing was really good too, in my opinion. I don't feel like we lingered where we shouldn't have, and I just feel like the emotions were conveyed, and I understood what was occurring and who was feeling what and how they felt towards each other. And like I said, I cried at the end of that. I didn't think that was going to happen. I would definitely recommend that book. If you don't like second chance, if you don't like miscommunication, if you don't love the cheating trope, I would still recommend Love in Other Words, because I think it could be one of those books that maybe is like your guilty pleasure. You're like, oh wait, I don't like this stuff, but I really liked it in this book. I thought it was really well done. I'm not guilty about liking it. I am going to openly state that I loved Love in Other Words. I thought it was really good. Now, the next two that I want to talk about are by the same author, Grady Hendrix, and I did include them in a reading vlog that I did. But what caught me by surprise is I'm not a big horror reader. I'm not a big horror person in general. I tend to get scared shitless quite quickly, quite easily. And then I'm stuck sleeping with lights on, and then my light bill goes through the roof. You know where this is going, right? I don't really love horrors, but for some reason I have been finding myself attracted to them every once in a while. Like last year I read Hidden Pictures, and that was absolutely terrifying. As soon as I was done reading that book, I unhauled it. I could not have that book in this house. And it's funny to me because I thought that was such a good horror. It was done so well. And then I read these two Grady Hendrix books, and I'm like, I think this is more my vibe. And in retrospection? Yeah. When I think about Hidden Pictures, I'm like, I don't know that it was actually that great. Like, Hidden Pictures wasn't bad. I wouldn't say it was a bad book, but it wasn't nearly as good as I thought it was. I think it was maybe one of my first horror reads, so maybe that's why I was so, like, enamored by it. But thinking back on it after reading these two horror books, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like Reculak kind of relied on one massive shock factor plot twist to carry the entire story. And yeah, obviously it worked because I thought it was good, but reading other horror stories where it's not so much about those big shock factors, I'm like, I don't know, I think I like this kind of horror a little bit more. Bear in mind, How to Sell a Haunted House and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires, that is a mouthful. These are both horror stories, but like with an undertone of comedy, and it really fucking worked. I never would have thought that I would have liked horror as much as I do. Like, I genuinely like Grady Hendrix. I like the writing. I think the writing is really easy to follow. I feel like it paints a really good picture of what's going on in the story without getting lost in the sauce and like descriptions and stuff. I feel like the characters were fleshed out enough where I could tell you who I liked and who I didn't like, but there was still like a little bit of mystery to them. Like I still wasn't 100% sure all of the time. I really enjoyed all of that. And the one that surprised me the most was How to Sell a Haunted House, because that one has some aspects that I genuinely do not like in my real life. You see my fists? I got the toddler fist going. You know, when they're I guess they're not toddlers, when they're infants, and they're always like fisted up, like who am I gonna punch? Anyways, I'm sorry. How to Sell a Haunted House. Grady Hendrix uses dolls and puppets. And I don't like mannequins. My daughter has dolls because people think girls need to have dolls. And she likes them, of course. She calls them her babies. And there's a drawer that I put them in at night because absolutely not. Absolutely not. You're not going to get me in the middle of the night, G.I. Joe. You're not about to wake up and wind it up because I didn't lock you in a drawer. That is me. That is who I am. So the fact that I liked How to Sell a Haunted House so much is so genuinely surprising, because I'm not going to say the name of the character because just the name gives me the heebie-jeebies, but like that book literally, I had to like turn off the audiobook at one point because I was doing an immersion read for all of it actually. I had to turn off the audiobook at one point. I was like, no, I can't do this. The voices were killing me. They were going to send me to my maker. I slept with the lights on for 2 nights straight because I was like, nope, I want to see it coming. I feel like the lights will prevent whatever it is from entering the bedroom. It was so much fun, though. It was so much fun. I really thoroughly enjoyed both of those books. The Southern Book Club one is not quite as heavy on the horror, I feel like. I think it's a little bit more heavy. I don't even think it is a horror, if I'm being honest. Let me double check that. Okay, so I guess the Southern Book Club is a horror novel. It's like a vampire like a vampire horror, I guess I would say, but it's really light on the horror aspect. Like, it wasn't scary or terrifying. It was a little revolting. There were some things that I was like, oh, my stomach is doing backflips right now, and not in a good way. It was an interesting read, but let me tell you something, them ladies, those housewives made that entire story. Like, Grady Hendrix did such a good job with the characters in the Southern Book Club. Like, those are fantastic characters in my opinion. I genuinely felt like they were real people, and what they were going through was like a real thing in their little town, and it just was really good. I really am surprised by how much I liked Grady Hendrix, and I think that, and obviously, you know, I can't say it was all due to him, but there's a part of me that has more appreciation for horror. I'm definitely gonna read another one. I have the final support group. The group support for finals. What? I have that. I'm gonna put a picture of it if I can find it, because I can't think of the title. I have that on hold at the library, and I'm definitely reading that next. Just prepare yourselves for my like fall book recommendation video to be full of Grady Hendrix, because there's so much fun. I think that if you're like me and you get scared easily, and you like to be scared, but also like you don't want to like lose too much sleep over it, I think Grady Hendrix is a great author so far for that. Specifically, How to Sell a Haunted House and The Southern Book Club. I think those two books are really great for like entry level horror with a little dose of comedy. All right, next up is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. So this was a recommendation from Sheldina. It's a thriller that she said really just blew her mind, and I was really, really excited to start it. I was really worried at the same time. I was like, maybe I've overhyped this in my mind. Like, maybe I'm taking it a little too seriously and it's not gonna be that good. Coffee break. Oh, I hate when your glasses fog up when you're drinking something hot. That was crazy. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. That book was crazy. That book was bananas. Is that what? Did I use that correctly? I don't think I did. Anyways, that book was insanity. Insanity. I promise you that I promise you that I thought there was something going on, and I couldn't have been more wrong. And I couldn't have been more happy to have been more wrong. It was done so well. It was done so well that when the plot twist dropped, I was gasping. I was literally like, where's my inhaler from 3 years ago that I haven't used in 3 years, because I need to take a deep breath, and I can't take a deep breath because, God, what are you talking about? That plot twist was so good. It was so good. And then everything that happened after that, because it was kind of like you got the plot twist, and then boom, 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 everything just started dropping from there, and you're like, what the fuck is going on? I thought I was reading one thing, and now I'm reading something else. But it was so enjoyable. Like, I didn't think I was gonna like that sudden shift, especially because, like I said, I thought something was going on. I thought there was something going on, like an undertone. I was like, Sheldina, is this what I think it is? And she's like, I can't say nothing to you because I don't want to spoil it for you. And I was starting to get nervous, and I was like, I don't think I can finish this book. I don't think I can finish this book because I'm actually starting to get nervous. It was like, it was a mixture of like being nervous, but also being kind of scared a little bit, like actually scared. But then the plot twist happened, and I was like, oh, wait, what? What is going on? And then you get more information after the plot twist, and I was like, well, now hold on a second. And there's a part of me that, I've talked about it a couple times now. I don't love that need to put shock into everything. Like, trauma, shock, trauma. And it's like, God, can you just chill? Can you just relax? You don't need to put everything, every plot twist in the world doesn't need to be used for this one book. And a part of me, when they started dropping, I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to like this, because the plot twists, they're coming a little too heavy right now. There's a little too much going on. But again, kind of like Love and Other Words, something that I didn't think I was going to enjoy was executed so well that I didn't have a chance to linger on how I could have disliked it, because I was spending so much time I was in a chokehold. The book had me in a chokehold at one point. After the first few plot twists, I was like, oh my God, what is gonna, like, I don't want to live in this state of suspense for too much longer. But I don't know, like, the way he wove together the plot twist with the main storyline, I don't know, it just worked. It just really worked, and it's because I don't want to give spoilers. I don't want to give any spoilers, but I just have to say That is one instance where go ahead and traumatize me. Go ahead and shock me. I want to be left gasping because Riley Sager did it really, really well. I think he handled it and executed it in a way. It just took the story to the next level because it was really good. I do have to say, the story was fantastic. I did it purely audio. Purely audio. I think the narrators did a fantastic job. And I think the story, the pacing, everything about it was great. It was fantastic. And the crazy part is that even after all these plot twists, these like 24 plot twists that got dropped on me as the reader, I still felt like everything fit together. He wove it in a way where like the one plot twist wouldn't have made sense without this conversation that happened earlier on in the book. But that conversation didn't make sense at the moment until after you get the plot twist, and then you're like, oh wait, I totally understand what's going on. He just did a really good job with it. That's all I'm trying to say. I got really excited, and I'm just gonna simmer down. I'm gonna take a sip of my coffee. Might even take a nap, because clearly I'm excited. My gosh, what do I have of his? I think I have Survive the Night. I do have Survive the Night, and I want to read that one next because I have it already. And I want to see. what we're working with. Are you going to do that in every book? Or are all of your books completely different from each other, but also somehow still written just as well as the next? You know what I mean? Like, I want to know about Riley Sager now because the only one left rocked my socks. I finished that book and I was like, what the fuck is going on? I felt like I was in Inception. When they're explaining what Inception is, that's what it felt like to be reading that book at the end. I was like, what? Wait, what? Reality? It was fantastic. It was really good. My job sent me a meeting invite. They want us to go to some meeting. I deleted it because it's on a Monday. I'm not going to a meeting on Monday unless my supervisor tells me it's mandatory. So sorry. I deleted it. And like 3 minutes later, they resent it to me. And I'm like, can you see that I deleted that? Because, oops. Yeah, I'm waiting till my boss gets back to tell me if I have to go to that meeting. Because Monday, are you serious? Moving on to the next book. This one is a fantasy. Children of Gods and Fighting Men. Let me tell you something. Linda. Listen, Linda. Children of Gods and Fighting Men was messy. It was messy. It was dramatic. There's something going on with one of the main characters, Gormla, and her son, and I don't like the vibe I was getting. I did not like the vibe I was getting from Gormla. And then you have another character, Fola, who also just seems like a wet piece of paper in a tornado. Like, I don't know. I don't understand. I don't really like her. Like, I don't know. Like, she's just so, you know what I mean? I started the book and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna like this because this is just crazy, like extra crazy, like kind of scary crazy. And this one over here don't got a backbone. I don't know if I could vibe. They're the only two perspectives I'm getting in this book. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be for me. I keep reading because the person that recommended it to me spoke very highly of it and I trust them. I trust them with my life and I trust them with my books. So I kept reading. I was like, well, Sam said this is gonna be good, so I'm gonna keep reading it because Sam wouldn't lie to me about this. I keep reading the book. It only got messier. It only kept getting messier. It only kept getting even more dramatic. Like everybody's reactions just felt really dramatic for what was going on in those given moments. The thing that was going on with Gormla and her son started to ick me even more. I was getting, I don't know. And I know it's not that. But there's just something about the way she like talks about her son and I just didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling it was giving me. And then Fola is a character that you would think I would like because she's kind of a little bit more compassionate. She's a little bit more empathetic. But then she has no backbone. She's so scared to do the things that could help her and help the little boy. I don't remember his name. Bronco. That's not his name. Anyways, she could do things that could help them. And she doesn't because she doesn't want to use her magic because some man told her she's not allowed to use her magic because she could get caught. Do you understand why I wouldn't like this? Do you understand why I wouldn't like these characters? I ate that book up. It was real good. It was real good. It's kind of like, if you've ever watched that movie about the Boleyn sisters or whatever, it's kind of like that. Like just a crap ton of scheming, going behind people's backs, doing things in your own self-interest. Everybody thinks they're better than everybody else. Nobody stinks, apparently. It's like that, but in this like fantastical old Ireland. and I ate it up. The author did such a good job keeping me hooked. She did such a fantastic job making me want to know more about these characters that I can't stand. I genuinely dislike them. Normally that to me would be a DNF. I'm not finishing this series. I don't even like the fucking characters. The only two characters I get to hear from and I don't like them. I'm seriously enjoying how the author is taking these two characters that are really unlikable in my opinion. They're genuinely unlikable. And she's kind of almost made them, in my opinion, they're almost so outrageously unlikable that I have no option but to want to know. What's going to happen to them? How is the story going to end for them? I would DNF a series if I couldn't like the main characters. That's not the first time that's happened. I would definitely put it down. But there was so much drama going on. There's 3 side characters specifically, but the one that has me like on the edge of my seat because I need to know is Gormla's stepdaughter. I need to know what Gormla's stepdaughter is planning on doing because between the stepdaughter and Olaf, which is another side character that I really like, I just feel like there's something brewing there and it's going to come back to bite Gormla her booty cheeks. And I'm sitting here waiting. That's why I'm going to read the second book because I need to know what happens next to these people because I don't like them that much. And I think the author did that. I think the author wrote the book in a way where you could be in one camp and really like the main characters or really like Gormla or Fola or whoever, and that's who you're writing for in the series. But she also wrote it in a way where, like, you don't like any of the characters, but you have to know what's going to happen to them. Pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly surprised that she made it messy enough for somebody like me to be like, I don't like none of these people, but I want to know what your karma's going to be. I love that. I absolutely love that. Would highly recommend this series to any fantasy reader. If you like that with a dose of fantasy and strong as FMC, let me correct that. I don't know that Fola is a strong FMC. To me right now in this moment, I don't think she is. She's a good character, but she's not necessarily strong. Gormla, on the other hand, if I see her, I'm across the street because I don't want any problems with you, Gormla. I want no problems. I already know you're gonna make me regret my life, so I'm all set. So yeah, highly recommend Children of Gods and Fighting Men. I have to read the second one. I don't remember what it's called right now, but I have it. Sam sent it to me when she sent me the first. Very, very grateful for that. So I will let you know how I like the second book. This one is gonna be a little surprising because it kind of goes hand in hand with my surprise from the Love Letter to Whiskey that I read at the beginning of the year. In the sense that I'm not quite sure what led me to read Twisted Love. I don't know where I got the idea from. It just kind of like appeared on my Kindle. I just downloaded it and read it. Twisted Love had my attention from start to finish, and I finished that book, I think, in like 4 or 5 hours. I binged the fuck out of Twisted Love. It was so entertaining. It was so much fun. Don't ask me what the plot was, because I couldn't tell you. I do know that there's a twist, and I could feel that the story was leading up to the twist. And I was like, why does there have to be a twist in a contemporary romance? Can I just do the romance? We don't have to do the twist. You know what I mean? And that's where I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this, because why are you always twisting up in a romance? Just, they need to get together. I know it's a romance. I know they're going to end up together. It's not a surprise. But the twist was actually kind of entertaining, and I was like, what the And I think it's a great book for people who, like, if you don't often read contemporary romance, I think it's classified as a dark romance, but I didn't get anything dark out of it, to be 100% honest. But I guess that's what it's classified as, that's what we'll leave it as. I think that if you are looking for some type of, like, light, dark romance, or, like, you're looking for, like, a fun, entertaining, quick romantic read, I think Twisted Love is great. I think it's a great one to, like, use as a palate cleanser even, between like heavier stories or the epic fantasies, whatever the case is for you. The characters were a lot of fun. Their banter was a lot of fun. You know, I do think there was a moment at the beginning where I was like, you're being really mean to her, and I don't know how you come back from that. But then you get the twist at the end of the book and you're like, oh, I guess that kind of explains that. I don't know. Again, I can't speak too much to the plot itself because that's not what I was doing in there. That's not what I was worried about. But I thought it was a lot of fun. I went to bed at like 2 o'clock in the morning to read Twisted Love. I thought it was a huge surprise. And I really liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun. Again, can't speak to the plot. Can't tell you what was going on in there. But I really liked the characters and I had a lot of fun. The book that caught me the most by surprise, is that how you say that? Anyways, recently has been Nightshade by Autumn Woods. Okay. I had just finished reading some fantasy, and I was like, I need a palate cleanser. Let me go get a romance off of KU. No idea where I got the recommendation from. I think it might have been Instagram, possibly TikTok. All I know is it was in a short or something, or a reel. And it was really quick. In my head, I was convinced it was a romance. I was like, there'll be like a popcorn romance, something I can read really fast in between books. I wasn't expecting anything. I wasn't expecting anything that good, to be honest. God forgive me. I really didn't think it was gonna be like that. And then I was reading it and I was like, oh my goodness, I deserve every moment of surprise that I am going through. It wasn't romance. I don't think that it should be put in the romance category because I think the romantic subplot was very much sub. It was not the point. It was not the point, and I liked it because it gave me an opportunity to get to know the characters. I'm a character-driven reader. We know this. It's not news. It gave me a really good chance to get to know the characters, understand their motivations, a little bit of their history, but there was still a sense of like, I don't actually think I know everything there is to know about Ophelia and Alex. I think that there's more that hasn't been given to me, and I gotta figure it out. There was this aspect of mystery. I'm not gonna say thriller because I don't think it was, for me, thriller is like, and mystery is just like, I wanna know. This was very much so like, I need to know, and I need to know now. And then you go leave me on a cliffhanger, and I didn't know, but I needed to know. But there's a cliffhanger, so I still don't know. That's the emotions that I was left with after reading Nightshade. It's like dark academia. It's about this young woman, Ophelia, who goes to this prestigious university, Sorrow Song, I think it's called. And she has a really weird interaction with the MMC Alex at the beginning. They shifted from enemies or rivals to lovers, and it was a strange shift. I didn't expect it, but I think I didn't expect it because I was pretty hooked on the mystery we were trying to figure out. So Ophelia ends up having a stalker during this book, and primary objective is to figure out who the stalker is and why they're bothering her so much. And then through all of that, she's making friends, sort of. She's having attempts on her life being made. Like, she went through quite a bit. Alex was there for quite a lot. She did some questionable things. There's a couple of scenes when she's in the dean's office, and I was like, what in the world is going on? It was so much fun, but it also had so much substance, in my opinion. Like, the characters were good. I thought that they were really fleshed out, and I really enjoyed the characters, side characters included. I liked the story itself, the plot. I really enjoyed it. I think that the plot and the characters went really well together. And I wasn't expecting that. I need to have a copy of Nightshade. I need to have a copy because I definitely want to reread that book. And I don't know when the second one is coming out, but I really hope it's soon because it left me spiraling a little bit. The ending kind of set me down a rabbit hole. I didn't love how Alex, the MMC, I didn't love how the book ended with him specifically, like his reactions to certain things. But I do think that book two is going to, like, something's going to go on, and I'm going to be like, all right, Alex, we're cool again. It was just fantastic. I think if you're looking for, like, a dark academia with a subplot of romance, and you like those, like, college university, like, if you like that kind of stuff, I think that you would really like Nightshade. I thought it was a lot of fun. That's another one that's, like, perfect for the fall because it just had, like, the best gothic-y dark vibes, like spiderwebs in the corner, kind of. Like, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and whenever books surprise me, whenever I underestimate a book, and then the book is like, get it together, and, like, so I like that feeling. I think that is, more often than not, that is how I come across 5-star reads, is not really expecting much, and then just getting my shit rocked by these books. So yeah, those are some of the books that have really, they've done a number on me lately. They have, and I'm thinking about most of them quite a bit. Twisted Love, not so much. I haven't really thought about that one since I finished it, to be honest. Okay, I'm done chit-chatting. I just wanted to share some of the books that have surprised me recently because I know my channel has been really heavy on, like, fantasy, but I do read other stuff. I've been enjoying romance. Now that the weather's nicer, I tend to read a little bit more romance. The thrillers are doing their thing, and apparently horror. I'm on, like, a horror kick right now. Don't ask me. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know why, but I'm gonna ride it out until I'm tired of reading scary stuff. Anyways, If you've read any of them, let me know what you thought. If there's any books that you've read recently that have just been like, what in the world? I was not expecting that. Please drop a comment. Please let me know because I would love some new recommendations. I love to be surprised by books, pleasantly surprised especially. But yeah, I will see you guys for the next video. As always, thank you so much for watching and happy reading.